Julie Dorsey-Oskerka is the author of A Sound Beginning, actually co-author of this book, and it's all about, in part, what you do when you bring a dog home. And, we don't often talk about this, or often enough, in my opinion, Julie, and that's about routines, predictability, how important having both of those in a dog's life is.
Well, from the beginning, whether you get a puppy or whether you adopt a dog from a shelter or whatever the situation is, when you bring a dog home, they don't know your house, they don't know you, they don't know the routine, they know absolutely nothing. So when you bring them into your home, the best thing to do is just to take it slow, let the dog be the one to guide all interactions and everything, and then try to have a set routine for the dog, because then they're very, very aware of their surroundings. They don't have watches so that they can look, oh, it's 9 o'clock, it's feeding time. They just know that by predictability, they know that at about this time of the day, these things happen. And then they start to become comfortable.
It seems they do have this internal clock,
Oh,
though.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So when we talk about routines, we definitely talk about house training.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's more than that.
Yes.
So, yes, I tell people even to put a schedule on the refrigerator of when their dog ate. Try to keep that time pretty much the same all the time. And then if we're talking puppies, what goes in one end is going to come out the other pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
And keep a log of when the dog's gone potty, number 1 and number 2.
Yeah.
but it's even more than that. So the walks tend to be at the same time. Do dogs do well when things are that predictable? Or then do you create a dog that is so static and regimented that it's not a good thing somehow?
Well, I think if you made yourself stressed out by the point that, oh my God, it's 1:05 and I've missed the walk by 5 minutes, yes, you will start to confuse and screw up your dog. But if you're a little bit flexible, but still in that general time frame, the morning we take our walk, the afternoon we play ball, early evening we visit, Tom and Julie down the street, whatever it is that the dog gets to do on a regular basis, it gives them something to look forward to. And when they have something to look forward to, they become more comfortable and they become, an actual member of your family rather than just an accessory you have because, oh, it's a white dog and I have white carpeting,
So certainly people it's amazing how flexible dogs can be. Mm-hmm. And people can be successful no matter what. But if you have a schedule that's kind of like a crazy schedule, so some days you work from 9 to 5, but some days you work from 11 a.m. till, what would that be on the other end? 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you've got this crazy life where sometimes you're home, sometimes you're not. And sometimes the kids are taking out the dog, and sometimes the husband is, sometimes you are, and on and on and on. And you never know what's going to happen from day to day. The dog, I suggest, will eventually settle in, but will it take longer for everything to happen?
Probably. If it's a day-to-day thing that it's constantly changing, eventually the dogs will start to settle in. But especially when you first bring a new dog into a home,
that's
the
not
best
ideal.
thing that you can do is to really have some kind of a set schedule. If you have to hire a pet sitter or a dog walker or bring your dog to daycare, something that they can look forward to, that, yes, this is what's going to happen every day. And it's going to help them be much more emotionally adjusted. Rather than just, oh, okay, we took care of his physical needs by getting him out to the bathroom on time. But then the dog just sits there for hour upon hour of endless time, and they don't know when the heck you're coming home or what. So in the beginning, especially, they need to have some kind of a set schedule to follow, or at least close to a set schedule. And then after the dog gets used to the family and the family gets used to the dog and they all coexist very well, then you can start going outside of that box a little bit. And then, just like us, we're more elastic with our personalities, and the dogs are that way too.
So one more question.
Mm-hmm.
It's the impossible question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make that bond happen? You adopt a dog from a shelter. Let's say it's a puppy, or let's say it's an adult dog, or from a breeder. The question is really the same. Can you make that happen, or does it just occur?
It comes from trust. Really does. Totally comes from trust. It's just like our own relationships with people. If you know that you can depend on someone,
but
there's the deepening of the relationship.
But that brings us back to
the predictability again. Yeah. Yes, exactly. But still, that compassion, that so rather than pushing and forcing a relationship to happen, it goes so far as just petting. Rather, instead of going up to the dog is sitting there. Instead of going up to the dog and going pat 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 on top of the head, just wait. And when the dog comes to you, then reach down and offer your hand to pet. And if the dog comes in closer, you'll know that's what the dog wants. And if the dog backs away, the dog's letting you know, it's a little bit too much for me. Not all people like to be hugged. And a lot of dogs just don't like to be petted either. It doesn't mean they don't love you or anything. It's just that's their personality. Like some dogs are definitely right on top of your lap and in your face, and they don't love you any more than the dog that's laying on the bed next to your computer while you're working. The love is the same. It just has to come from the dog, and just basically letting the dog be the guide. That's my whole opinion, and that's basically what we wrote in the book too. Is just to let the dog be the one to guide all interactions. Don't force anything. Don't push. And it will happen. It absolutely will happen.
That is how you create a sound beginning.
Yes.
The name of the book. Julie Dorsey-Oskerka. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you so much.